Hello everyone out on YouTube. So this will be my first tutorial for crocheting. I've never done it before, so bear with me. I am going to be doing a tutorial on how to make ice skate ornaments. They are so cute. They're very simple to make. Now the pattern that I used is a little bit different than what I'm going to show you because I had to use a bigger paper clip. Now if you have the littler paper clip, then you need to follow the pattern exactly, and I'll explain that to you. If you do the bigger paper clips, which I'll show you the paper clips I'm going to be using, if you use those, then you will have to use the pattern the way that I'm going to explain it to you. Alright, so let's get started. Okay, this is what we'll be making. As you can see, they're very, very cute, and they'd be perfect for any tree, a gift, anything like that. Now, what you're going to need for your project is a little bit of white, which is for the top. A main color, it can be any color you want to do. It doesn't have to be the yellow. As you can see in this one, I did a multicolored one. And you'll need 2 jumbo paper clips, and you'll need a F or 5 3/4 millimeter hook, and for the chain at the end you will need a J or 6 millimeter hook. Okay, now when you get ready to start with the paper clips, you want to make sure that they are like this, so that these are facing this way, or towards your left hand if you have it in your left hand. You want to make sure that the hooks are this way, because you're going to be starting right here on this end, the big end. Now what we want to do is take our yarn, and we're going to have the hook going in the right direction. We're going to have this come through so that it hangs like this. Now what you want to do is put your hook here, and basically you want to tie a knot in it. It's kind of like your slip stitch, or your starting loop for your crochet or your slip knot. So you're basically tying your hook to it. Now what differs with mine than did with the pattern did not suggest making any chains to start this project. Well, I started with a chain 2. Because it kind of helps to stabilize what you're doing. And even though you might want to have this really, really tight, I'm going to tell you now it is going to be next to impossible to keep your tension on this, because you're going to be taking your thread through that. So you're going to take it around, hook it, go through the paper clip, bring your thread down, and loop it over. So it'll look like that. Then you just double crochet. It's going to slide all over the place, and you want to try to keep that tail up on top so that you are crocheting it into the project. So around, through, and under, and then double crochet, 2 and 2. Now it should look like this. Now with mine, I did the chain and then 2 double crochets, and then I went into this little part right here. which you'll be doing the double crochet. which it makes it a little bit more difficult because you're going to be going under that, and you want to try to keep that above it, and you want to try to keep the thread from hitting that little niche, or this little piece, because if it hits that, it's going to mess up your thread. So we now have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we need 4 more, or 5 more. 1, 2. So that's 5. That's 6. And see how my thread's getting caught right there? It's going to do that because, well, there's no way of getting around it because of the paper clip. But in the long run, it still looks really cute, even with it messing up a little bit. So around, under, and do your double crochet again. So now we have 7, so we need 2 more. The pattern that I will be linking in the About section will tell you that you need 8 double crochets. Well, I'm using a little bit bigger, I'm going to trim this off, a little bit bigger paper clips, so I had to have it a little bit more double crochets. So that's 1 and 2. So now it should look like this. Now what you want to do, chain 2, flip your work, and do the same amount of crochets across, the double crochets. Now you can go all the way into the stitch, but what I do is just the top little section. I don't go all the way into the stitch, I just use the top piece. Sorry if you can't see me, I'm right-handed and my camera's on the right, I can't move it. I hope I'm explaining it okay. Okay, so we're gonna have to, we go all the way across. And try to make sure you get all of your thread through. That would be bad. Just through and through. And then the last one, you can either finish it like that, which you can see it lines up pretty good, which I'm going to leave it on this one. So it should look like this now. This is going to be the front of your skate. So now what we want to do is crochet 2, chain 2, turn your work again, and we're going to do 5 double crochets this time. And I wish I'd stopped losing my needle in there. And your chain 2 does count as a double crochet, so you would only really need 4 double crochets. So this is what it'll look like once you have your 5 double crochets, or the 4 plus the chain. Now what you want to do is chain 2 and turn your work again. Now we're going to do the same amount of double crochets back across. So this is what we're doing. That's 3. There's 4. And if you can find it, go into your chain. Okay, so this is what you should have as of right now. You can either go into the chain on this last one, right in through here, or you can just go into the stitch itself. Now what you want to do is pull out just a little bit of it and take that needle out. Don't cut this. This needs to stay attached for this next bit. Now what you want to do is take your top color, which can be the white or another color, whichever one you want to do. And what you want to do is go into that first stitch, not into the chain, the stitch itself. See how the chain's right here? You want to go inside of that. And you're going to take the white and pull it through. Hold that tail down. Tighten it up. Oops. Without the oops is wonderful. So you just chain 2. 1, 2. And you start at the top of your skate. Now you just do double crochets until you get to that. And then I'll show you what you need to do. Oh. That's where I messed up. You want to make sure that you keep this on the outside of this stitch, because if you don't, then you're not going to be able to do the crochet that you need. So see how this is, that stitch is on the outside of this, or the inside of it, I mean. That's what you want it to be like. You don't want it to be on the outside. Okay, now that you've had that, just slip your needle into that yellow. So now you have both. And this is where you're going to be switching from the smaller needle to the bigger needle, because you're going to have 2 pieces of yarn to be doing. So you're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And your 15th one is going to be the one that you're going to end it on. But what you want to do is have at least, I don't know if you can see that, this much before you cut it off, because you're going to need it to tie the bow, which is right here. That's what you're going to need for it. So we just cut this off and in this. Pull it through, make sure it's nice and tight, and that is your skate. Now what I did with the white, instead of just cutting it off, I went back through, because it's not really secure. Now this is something else that did not talk about in the pattern. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take that around, turn it, and work it through the top of that, so that it is secure back into the work. and then you just want to trim this off. And there is your skate. Okay, now that we have our 2 skates, and one thing that I forgot to mention as you were crocheting, and I know this is a little bit late, I'm very sorry. When you are crocheting, when you turn it and you go up to this next section, you skip that first stitch because the chain 2 counts as a double crochet, and it happens all the way up to the top. You skip that first stitch. Now to finish these off, as you can see, I have 2 of them. You put them together. Now you can tie a knot if you'd like, so that they won't come apart later on, which I didn't do in the first set that I did, but I think I'm going to do this time. So all you do is pull these together, and of course my knot is not as close as I'd like it to be. Okay, once you have that knot secured, you just tie a little bow with both of your threads. And voila! You now have ice skates to put on your tree. Be sure to like and subscribe to my channel, and I will try to do some more tutorials. So have a good day, have a happy Thanksgiving, and a wonderful